Hey, welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we finished up Case 4.
That's not the name!
That's the name of the first one.
They didn't say Chronicles.
Look, Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Anyway, starting Case 5. Let's go.
The Hound of the Baskerville. The Hound of Baskerville.
But not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its claws glow with its ball and glitter.
Coming! Sholmes' cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us.
Should have been I'm coming.
Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol.
It's just the attack line. Oh, I love sex.
In the stillness.
No, that's the name of the ice dragon.
For what seemed an eternity, until at last it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us.
Who?
A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a small
Was a good boy.
The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear.
I don't remember
Well, Wilson,
/ know what the
the mystical beast.
deal with the mystery was in the original Sherlock Holmes story. All I remember is the stupid Stephen Moffat adaptation, in which this one was like, oh, it's a fucking airborne drug that makes you hallucinate being attacked by a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is also the same as the plot of the ProZD video, Professor Layton and the Very Large Dog, or whatever it's called.
I believe. I want to say it in the original story it is also fake, but like it's not that stupid.
Okay.
It's like someone trying to cover up their murders of their family members to get inheritance.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
The best they could
like
come
that.
up with, it was a big dog.
Yeah. Oh.
Sure. First 2 months in London passed by in a flash. Flash?
A flash? Pass by in a flash.
Yes. Look, I'm not good at British, okay? I just hit my mic. That disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country. In Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. So they've been there like less than a week. All this
Yes.
happened.
Yeah, those 3 and 4 happened within a week, and now it's been 2 months.
Good. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. Life in our little office was very quiet. It is. Until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. Out he'd gone. Sato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. He just discovered that window. So Sato-san?
Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see, what case is it today?
I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I?
Oh! No, of course not. How silly of me.
I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. Shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Yes!
Mrs.?
Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see, what
Okay.
case is it today?
Here we go again. Mamma mia.
Alright. Sure.
Well.
Turns out this place also has a gas leak and she thinks they're going to court.
Morning, Bruno. Morning, Susie.
Good morning, Iris.
Iris,
Is it Bruno?
what is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled.
Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you?
Didn't you? Yeah, sure.
Ellie's isn't in the best form this morning, it seems.
A little
Hello.
dead.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Good morning.
Good morning to die, perhaps.
He's entered his emo phase. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before.
My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead.
Someone fetch the opium.
Damn this blanched existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me if it's not too much trouble.
Okay.
It has a bow! Look, it's Wakahai. What's her name?
Good morning, boy.
Now.
That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use.
I don't know if they're gonna make the connection evident here soon, but I'll just explain. So I mentioned that Soseki Natsume was a real person. One of his most well-known works of fiction was a book called I Am a Cat, I think from the perspective of a cat, and it's seen as like, it's like a comedy or something. I don't know the exact details, but obviously in Japanese, like, there's a variety of different first-person personal pronouns that you can use between, like, watashi, boku, ore, etc., to more obscure ones, and wakahai is, like, a very old-fashioned and, like, fancy way to refer to yourself. It's, like, very self-important, and so I think the book is specifically called Wagahai wa neko desu, or something like that, so, like, the cat refers to itself with that pronoun.
Good!
Morgana in Persona 5 also says that.
That's a reference to that, yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, it makes sense for a cat. To be fair.
I guess.
So its name is just like The Magnificent.
It's like my most esteemed self or something, I don't know. Did you read that?
Tiny cat door, I said this.
Okay.
How did it get there?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast.
Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. It would indeed be a fine day to die.
I knew something looked different. Skull. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk.
Could be.
What's the matter? You look like a wet cat. So about wanting to die.
You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened?
It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its mellifluent tones would make flowers bloom.
Would?
But now the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I have bowed, for days even. Through the night I have endeavoured to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion!
Someone needs to get laid.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure we'll come back to you in time.
Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it.
The three golden goddesses.
Ah, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left?
Direction. Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for?
Have you tried tuning the violin?
Mr. Sholmes, I
tried
would like
the
to
DVD.
cry, but... Your desk looks rather empty today. Well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh, no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
In Hurley's great analytoscope. That's at Windybanks now.
Sorry, it's at a windy bank?
No, Windybanks, the pawnbrokery.
Oh. Yeah, the pawn.
What?
You mean you pawned that enormous machine of yours?
It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you.
Is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all.
It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
Oh, what's to understand exactly? I understand pawn well enough. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works?
To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in turn, they are able to trade happily through the week.
Then on Saturdays, they get to recover their things using the money they've earned.
I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us.
Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious!
So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we'll leave it at Windybanks, you see.
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault.
Would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain.
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't, like me.
God.
Wouldn't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Okay.
Okay.
Was that done?
Oh, okay.
Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
Oh, yes, and I become very attached to little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owner has completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures, their mews as empty as the hearts of the muses.
Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan. I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. Pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed.
Well,
I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable.
yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Bruno. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the flopper mat.
Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats?
That's right. You can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Actually, you can't break bedrock.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. But now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
Really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Alright.
Oh, what was that?
Waggai? Oh, damn.
What was that?
No! Guy's tangled up in your violin.
I think he thinks it's a toy.
No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin. Why should I care?
What?
I shouldn't be surprised. The cat is a more accomplished musician than I now.
God.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he?
Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage.
No such thing. No such thing as out of a cat's reach.
True.
This is true.
I guess examine violin.
Look for the violin, I guess.
I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't follow up.
Are we supposed to look at their shit? Like,
I guess.
Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing lately. There's paper already set up in the typewriter. Look, as if she's about to start.
that reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed.
Ah yes, Mr. Natsume.
That's what I'll be doing too, once I'm back in Japan, he said, through tightly clenched fists and teeth. Okay, let me actually check something quickly. If I go to move, it should tell us what we need to do. We do need to investigate the suite a bit more.
Yeah.
Would be sweet.
Equations, yeah.
Fuck, I bet. We need to fuck
This is where
about.
Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see, what does it say today? Ah, the Boscombe Valley Mystery.
I would pronounce that as Boscombe.
Boscombe.
Ooh, how intriguing! It must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my, I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us.
Satathon looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. I don't know, I can imagine some pretty bad things. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles, too.
It's like drugs or poison or some shit.
Old Killer X. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems.
Science is the future, Mr. Naruhodo, you can't deny it. I'm saving my money so that I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well.
Law, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Mr. Sato.
As useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list.
Good.
It's okay, you just have to sneak around in the land of dinosaurs to get a legendary spear.
What?
It'll make sense to people.
I'm people.
People, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, too bad. This beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain.
The English pastime of tea has many similarities with our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea.
Okay.
Really, I just want to drink some damn tea.
I just wanted to see some titties.
The fire's burning comfortingly and great again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow.
Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. The woman? Woman? White woman jump scare.
There are no women here. That's supposed to mean something to me.
What the fuck just happened? What was that? Why did I get an achievement for that? The woman.
Can you like, even go check the description of the achievement?
Or just
I'll do it later.
Just pause and okay.
It looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, with an equally sturdy lock.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye out on you, don't I? You're very mischievous.
How did you come to that conclusion? Examine the shoe on the shelf. It intrigues me.
I tried.
The right one.
Can't.
Oh, that one. Okay.
They're all mementos. Mr. Chums' past cases, I think. If you've been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from La Carnival would be on display here.
A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon.
Yep.
Ah, what an entrancing collection.
Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, other than what's on my own shelves.
Well, you've
The
really
light
got
was
to
on
learn
my
to
own
keep your
shelves.
things in order, Mr. Naruhodo.
No favoritism there at all. There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. All heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment.
Oh, it's such a charmingly untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it?
It's messy to me, like my desk.
But you, Mr. Naruhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself.
No favoritism there, then. This is a good bit.
Yeah. I like it.
Look at Mr. Shows' desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
That's scarily plausible, actually. It's fine, he just discovered Billie Eilish.
I don't get it.
Oh.
Yeah,
the
violin. I forgot that's what we were going for.
Yeah.
So this is the violin, is it?
It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari.
Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me.
I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings.
How honourable of you.
And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this bloodshed existence? No! There is none! Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
I can give you a release.
Well, it's about the... Shut up. It's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? Hmm?
What do you mean, Mrs. Sato?
Oh, Susie's right. Yes. Tone of the wood is completely different.
And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it?
What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you alright? You're right! You are quite right! That's a fucking Michael Rosen line. You're right. Quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. So what, pray, is this piece of strigged flotsam?
not your faithful performing partner then. I don't like it that much if you didn't recognize that it was completely different.
Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Yeah, pawnbrokery, whatever.
No, you got
Or not.
No, you got poke Iris. Mix up.
What do you mean by a mix-up, Iris?
Mess up the mix up the mess. Come on down, y'all. Here's the address.
You see this violin, sorry, this viola, I mean. Was at Windyback until last week.
At the pawnbrokers?
No, Mr. Shone's beloved musical partner.
There is a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in hope that it would experience personal growth.
Oh, what a wonderful idea! Last week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument, but it would appear Mr. Winterbank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber.
Oh, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings.
A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbrokery as an extremely secure vault. Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere.
Sorry.
Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, pressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windyback's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mr. Sato, without a moment's delay.
But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg ever more obtusely?
All right, say no more. Let's go then.
This guy's such a fucking fruit.
Yeah. God.
Don't worry, Reno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Reheated eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Iris. It's better than throwing them away.
I guess.
Yeah.
As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's
I
looks
feel like
like.
you could eat the eggs really quickly. Like, you just shovel that shit in.
Yes.
Did you realize? I can't remember.
You did.
Alright.
Do we move now?
Move.
So it would seem... Oh, there's two
we can go
locations.
to two places.
Let's go to Baker Street first. Why not?
There'll be a side quest there.
Oh.
It was useless.
Yeah. I'm...
Just
Well, I mean, I see the
level
pawnbrokers right
outdoor.
there. I'm guessing it'll be relevant to be out here as well.
Probably.
Nita Baker Street. Is April what now?
15.
Oh, it said right there. So this is a British pawnbrokery.
Oh my, there are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before.
They lived here for months by this point, yet they never went to the place that was literally next door.
Apparently not.
Master Sato-san, that spark of wonder in your eyes. No way to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure.
Clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging by the spark of fury in his eyes.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome?
Well, yes, we are potential customers after all.
We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo. It is time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come,
Disgruntled
the
Celtic
fight
guardian.
is afoot!
Alright, converse.
Oops.
Oh, I guess we're examine.
No,
Oh,
I meant
okay.
think of it.
Okay.
Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There is one way to make amends.
Seppuku?
Oh!
I shall have to take my own life!
Was kidding!
Bruh.
I don't think that will be necessary, do you?
It's okay, he's just excited for Persona 3 Reload.
If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Yes? It was you, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is. You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave, so I shall not grumble nor grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me! No, stop, my dear fellow, the fault is mine!
I should shoot you?
Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir.
Either laugh or cry, I suppose.
You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such. Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? Whoops. A story I've yet to read, you mean? Forgive me. Oh wait, before you die, you must tell me more! Oh my god.
Bruh?
I must know more, tell me everything!
Wow, this other son is really fired up now.
Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. It houses something of very great value indeed, the latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript?
I'm bothered for it.
Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. And as such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom.
Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? He says that someone doesn't want to talk about this.
I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life!
This is all very strange.
Pawnbrokery.
I wonder, could I ask you something?
A gentleman from the East, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
Aha! But for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colours are exquisite, the design exotic, Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
I don't feel as though I suffered some sort of defeat here. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London.
Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportional loan and 2 months of secure storage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed, then? That's right, ma'am, that's right, which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all!
Is that the thinker I spy on the right?
Yeah, I think it is. The very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually.
Are we sure? Are we sure it's not a clock in the shape of the thinker?
Don't know.
Oh, true.
Says the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning.
Considering considering that one was handmade by Larry, probably not.
I don't know, maybe.
And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs.
It took Larry's family line that long to pay off the loan. Oh, what sort of measures?
I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank?
What was that deep sigh about?
Red-handed recorder.
What on earth is a red-handed recorder?
Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 just below the ceiling. I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera, furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah, yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity of the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness.
It's a picture of a dog. Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it, look. This would be really helpful if some sort of tragic crime were to occur here and we had to investigate the scene. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed.
If they did it at the exact right time.
But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, my dear madam. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times? One could only say. That would be a cruel twist of fate.
In London, we only commit crimes on the hour.
I must confess your devices have been giving me some cause for distress as of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You must graciously place not 1, but 2 cameras in my shop after all, which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing! Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you tried to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this will be the only answer.
I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt.
Fear not.
Sorry?
I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed.
It's not really what I meant.
God.
Good day to you, then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes. Christ.
Oh, that guy was very Grossbergy.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last. Alright,
Okay.
let's have a look-sees.
Take any peek.
Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Winterbank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts.
He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. Dog. This revolver here.
Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Winterbank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd... Blow his brains out? Indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course you would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Christ.
Imagine being the writer who was like, this character's gimmick should be suicide.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there.
That leads to... Wrong voice. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Winterbank keeps articles that are currently in pawn.
Are you imitating me?
Ah, I see. There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity.
Recommend it or not, it's not something I tend to do.
There is but one key, and Mr. Winterbank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder!
I'm the prime suspect if this pawnbroker is ever burgled.
God.
He's a Super Mario Brothers wonder.
So, he's good, but he would be better if he was a Metroidvania, according to that one review. Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
I've never heard anything like it before in my life.
This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. A public house is a pub, by the way, that's where the name comes from.
Oh.
Yeah.
There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine! Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. Alright. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn, or colloquially pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing.
Oh, yes. Now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow.
My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit! So it's my only outfit.
Apparently.
Yeah. There's no stereo.
Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does?
It seems to have two little windows for looking through.
Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look.
Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today.
Alright then, I'm going to try it.
And we look sees.
Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see! At once! Oh.
Oh, all right then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. A dead body in there. What the?
Oh, I see. Because this is on the 3DS.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure it's even possible for me to sit in a location where I can cross my eyes to the point of these converging, honestly.
Yeah, no.
They're like too far apart.
I don't believe it. Just a photographic print, but it seems that you could reach out and touch it.
Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. I'll point out that that was Juror number 2 from Trial 3, aka the one that was literally me.
Good.
Why?
I did feel like I was supposed to recognize her.
Why are people meddling with such black magic?
It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Oh. Look at this! Whatever could it be used for?
It has an icon, so it's definitely evidence. I have no idea.
Ah. There's a small catch just here, look.
Going to open it, aren't we?
Oh, no, never mind.
Oh my, that's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism.
Will never manage to put back into the way it was before.
What are you two doing?
What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. With this device, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. As though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere.
Yeah, like maybe right
On the
here?
other side of the room?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April, today's date.
Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windybank.
Who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before?
Wasn't even a violin. Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job.